everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Sedona and this is Jeff.
Hi y'all!
Today I'm going to be drawing Scara from Genshin Impact, part 2 of drawing Sumeru characters. So without further ado, let's get started. I told you guys that I was going to be drawing the whole drawing in this video, but I already drew the head and the ears and all the guidelines for like the hat and stuff, so I'm just starting on the hair, only a little bit of it, because then I just stopped. But this drawing took me so long. It took me 2 days and I was drawing all day both those days, and as I realized as I was editing this video, I realized I had over 100 minutes of footage, which was insane. So I had to somehow edit that to a reasonable portion, which is why this video is so long. So right now I am just working on the hair, and not a ton of his hair is showing. And I'm not exactly sure what you would even call his haircut. It's like, it kind of reminds me of like a bowl cut and then a mullet. So I don't really know. Comment down below if you know what to call his haircut. Oh my god, I can't talk. So right now I'm just fixing up the lines for his hair with my kneaded eraser that I got on Amazon. And now I'm just adding more strands of hair. He has a lot of hair on his face, like covering his forehead, but not his entire forehead is covered. So yeah, as it gets more to the center of his forehead, it does get smaller strands. And now I'm starting the guidelines for his neck, and I had to redo his neck quite a few times, because every time it looked way too small. And I also had to imagine how the... I can't even talk. I'm actually stupid.
Sedona, are you kidding me?
I'm just a disgrace. Anyway,
Yeah.
what am I even... I think I'm... So now I'm just making his neck thicker because he actually needs something that would actually support his head. And now I grab the pencil really weird, and then we continue drawing. Now I'm just adding his shoulders, and then I still have to draw the other half of his hair. He looks a little funky right now. But I'm just getting guidelines in place, like where different parts of the drawing and clothes will be. Hold on, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna edit all this voice part out. Now I'm just making his face a little bit bigger because his face looked too small at first. So technically nothing really stays, none of the stuff that I had before. So like I changed his ear because I realized that it looks really weird. And I changed his face shape, and I changed his head, and I definitely changed his hat. Obviously right now it looks stupid. But, oh my god, Jeff. Just got decapitated. Jeff just died. R.I.P. Jeff. Oh my god. So now I'm just continuing with his neck, making it thicker so that it can actually support his head, because before it definitely could not. And I know that typically in anime their necks aren't too big, they have relatively small necks. Like everything, I feel like all the proportions are like, oh my god, I can't even think of the word.
Off.
no, not off, like
Weird?
exaggerated, that's what I was looking for. So like big hands, big feet, big heads, big eyes, and then small necks, you know. But anyway, so I'm just trying to get it so that maybe he could live with it, because before it was looking a little bit strange. And right now I'm working on his neck piece. I'm not exactly sure what it is, like a weird necklace thing, but it's got a somewhat large pendant in the middle of it that took me kind of a long time to draw. But right now I'm just working on the part that goes around his neck, just like a gold part. And when I start coloring it, I have this Copic marker. It's Y28 liquid gold, and I feel like a ton of golds are usually like yellow or like they don't look gold, but this Copic marker actually looks like gold, especially if you shade it with gray. Then it clearly like gets darker and it looks so good, and I love it so much. So that's what I will use for all the gold accents in this drawing. So now I'm starting on his little pendant. I'm not exactly sure the shape. It's got like a bunch of little things that go out of it. And I know that Genshin Impact characters, and I guess all characters from that creator, like Honkai Star Rail, which I recently started playing just a few days ago. And in Genshin Impact, they have a bunch of accessories that I'm not exactly sure what they are. They're just kind of there. So that's what this is. I'm not exactly sure what to call it. Same with the little headpiece on Nahida. So I'm just working on that. I'm trying to get the perspective right so it actually looks 3D and not super flat. This drawing, I know it's kind of hard to get it to look super 3D with just lines, but I'm trying my hardest not to make it look just super flat. But it is just fan art, so I don't know. It's just for me. But anyway, so now I'm working on the details in his little pendant, and it was kind of time consuming to draw this because there are so many little things, and I had to get the perspective right to actually look like kind of like a 3/4 view. So it's a little bit difficult. So it took me a little while, and ultimately this drawing itself took a pretty long time, just Scara. And as I was talking to my brother, he was like, wait, Scara's a boy? Because I said his name, and then I said something about him. And he's like, wait, Scara's a boy? I'm like, yeah. He's like, but Scara's a girl name. I was like, not really. It's short for Scaramouche. He was like, Scaramouche is a really weird name. It's like, it's unique for sure. Kind of weird. My sisters reminded me that I said it wasn't even really a name, but Scara is named Scara, so it is a name. His name is Scara. I'm not exactly sure from where, like what. But anyway, I went totally off topic there. I went on a rant about Scara's name. Anyway, so right now, I like to add, when I draw, I like to add shading and where highlights would be, just so I can see the form of things. But now I'm finally working on his hat, so it doesn't look super weird and look like he has a really weird big head. And he has a ton of different little details on his hat, his umbrella hat. That's totally what it is. So I needed to get things a good size, and at first I made it way too small, but then I got it bigger, which looked a lot better. Adding the little details on his hat definitely made it look a lot better, but I still keep it like this shape. I just clean it up. And so I end up shading this so I can see the form of it. I end up shading most things so that I can see the form of it. So yeah, anyway, I'm just adding the details on the hat. And so now I'm just erasing, because I had added a smaller part of this, so now I'm just erasing that so that it actually looks somewhat clean, even though I still have my guidelines all over. But now I'm fixing up his jaw again, because I had trouble. And then I do make it a lot wider, so yeah, I'm doing that right now. And so, and then I'm fixing up his ear. His ear, it looks super weird, but I fix it off camera. I fix a lot of things that look weird and it ends a video like this, then I fix it off camera. But now I'm continuing on his hair, finally, because he looked half bald. So I'm just finishing up his hair. Also, in my last video, a lot of people were wondering about Jeff, saying that they wanted more Jeff. They really liked Jeff. So I decided to give you all just a little Jeff update. As I continue drawing the hair, and then I will, in just a little bit before we get on to day 2, I will give you a Jeff update. So he's doing pretty good, aside from the fact that I just killed him in my hands. He just died, decapitated, and then cut in half. But other than that, he'll tell you how he's doing.
Hey y'all. So I was kind of thinking how you guys really liked me, and I just wanted to give you a little update on my life. So I told Sedona that I should have a little update. So here I am. I'm doing good, and I was on the cover of a magazine. Love you guys. Bye.
So now it's day 2, and I'm now finishing up the hat. I'm just kind of sketching things out lightly. So right now I'm just continuing with the details on his hat. Mostly everything is just sketched out super lightly, because sometimes I make the mistake and I go way too hard with my pencil lines, and then it's impossible to erase them. But I've been learning to do lighter lines, so that's good. So now I'm making the lines a little bit harder, making it look more 3D, because I am going to end up keeping these lines. So he has different little details, curved parts that protrude from his hat more. So I start working on those, but then I run out of paper space, so I only draw a little bit of them. I'm upset that I didn't have enough paper room on my paper to draw the whole drawing, but happy that I had paper this big to draw something this big. And I'm super excited to color it, and I think it'll look super cool once it's finished with all the characters. There are 7 characters. I'll hit them: Lumion, Paimon, Sino, Candice, Scara, and Nahida. I don't have any of these characters. The only character that I have is Lumion, and that's because I got her in the beginning. And obviously Paimon, but you don't actually get to be Paimon. But that doesn't really matter. I'm going off again. Super off topic. I have a problem with that. Anyway, so now I'm just continuing making it look more 3D up there, shading to see the form of it. And then I'm going to continue with the hat on the other side. Yeah, so just adding different parts to make it look 3D, shading, seeing the shape of things, repeating myself, because that's how cool I am and super professional, and I can talk really well, if you didn't know that. Anyway, so then I'm just adding more details, erasing things, adding things, messing up, failing. Such is my life. Anyway, so then I'm just erasing little things I messed up on, and now I'm continuing with the hat, drawing the other side, and it does end up disappearing because the rim at least does, because of the way that he is faced towards us. So then I just add the other little curve-y part, not exactly sure what to call it, on the other side. So I'm just adding that, and then I go too high, so I have to redo it, not redo it completely, but just add more. And then I'm continuing with the part that actually makes it look 3D and not super flat and head on, because we are looking at him from an angle. And so I'm just adding that. It looks super flat right now, but once I add more lines, it will look better. So now finally I'm making it look somewhat reasonable, presentable maybe, shading because I have a problem with that. And then just adding more lines because that's basically what drawing is. Just lines and more lines and more lines and more lines. And going off a rant again. And going off on a rant again because I can't talk. So after that fun little bit, then I am making my lines a little bit more harsh, making them firmer because I'm going to end up sticking with these. And I do apologize for the lighting, but as I am drawing, it keeps getting lighter and lighter, so the sun is going down and it gets darker because I was drawing all day long. And so it's better in the beginning, but then it just gets bad. So I apologize for that. But now I'm just adding more details that you can't really see on the other curve part of the hat, but you can see more of on this. So I'm just adding those, and then after I add the details and random lines on this, I am done with the hat. And then hopefully we'll continue on with the hair. So I'm just adding different lines and details that I've added to the other side, making it look somewhat symmetrical. And then just continuing with the curve, making the curve look better. And then making the lines more harsh. Curving them a little bit more because they have kind of an S curve, a super slight S curve. Now I'm working on his hair finally. It's gotten darker as you can see, and I drew more in this time, but it was mostly just sketching. So I decided to cut it out of the video, but I'm adding his hair, which makes it look so much better, finally. And I'm super excited to draw his hair. He has a super dark blue hair, and I love it. So I'm super excited to use all my Copic markers to draw his hair and to draw this entire drawing actually. And the coloring part will be separate videos. So if you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe, turn on post notifications, you will get to see that video. So after I add these last little strands, making his head look like it's an actual head and not some weird, I don't even know, thing just floating around on the planet or wherever they live in Genshin Impact. So now I am continuing on with his hair, adding the part that is more around his neck and shoulder area. It has gotten even darker, and I apologize for that, but the sun keeps going down too fast for me to draw. But I do end up finishing the Scara in this day. So then now I'm finally working on his clothing, making it look like he actually has a body. So I'm not exactly sure what to call what he wears, but he has, I'm not even going to start to explain it because I won't even know what any of it is called, but I can draw it. But he's got like a little braid style thing across his, it's not actual braid, but like braided accessories over his shoulder. So I'm blocking that in, making it look super weird, and then I'm going to redo it. But I'm just adding the different layers of his clothes, looking at like he actually is somewhat 3D. So then I'm just adding more and more details, and the shadow of my hands and my head is super all over, but it has gotten even darker again, even later. But now I'm just adding the braid as it continues over his shoulder. So yeah, now I'm just cleaning it up. One of the little sections is purple and one of the little sections is white, So I shade the purple part because it's darker, and I just like to shade things for some reason. When I can't decide what to draw next, I just shade, see the form of things, and then that just like gets me going on to the next. But now I'm just making his braid look more like a braid and less like a weird blob that goes over his shoulder. Adding the different strands, kind of like how I did with Nahida's hair, her braid, which has faded a little bit, but it still looks okay. Go watch that video if you haven't already, drawing Nahida from Genshin back to this drawing. I don't draw all of her in that video, but not even most of it. I finished her in that video because I started her at my aunt's house without filming because I'm really smart. So anyway, now I'm just dropping my pencil, and then I'm continuing with his clothes, making it look like it actually goes around his body and doesn't just randomly stop. So then I'm thinking some more, because that's how smart I am. I need to think about what I'm gonna draw. But anyway, then I'm continuing shading, adding the harsher lines in his braid. Yeah, you can see that I'm just shading, because it goes purple, then white, then purple, then white. And then I'm continuing on the other side of his coat. This side was easier because you don't see as much. So I'm just making it look like it actually has some thickness and is not just some weird super thin piece of fabric. I don't know what it would be made out of, but this is how it was in my reference photo, so that is how I draw it. But that would be super thick fabric now that I'm thinking about it. But anyway, now I'm drawing his shoulder, make it actually look like he has bones. And then I'm drawing the weird little thing that he has coming out of his shoulder. It's like gold. I know the color, and I know how to draw it, just don't know what it is, as with most things in this video. So I'm just adding all the details and things and random little things. And I'm just giving it thickness and making it more 3D, making it look like it actually has dimension. So yeah, and it does go off frame a little bit, but I promise I'm still drawing. Now I'm continuing with his face, drawing my guidelines. I have weird guidelines that I draw. So I start with two little lines that I know that I'm going to draw his eyes, and then once I draw his eyes, I draw one eye completely, even though I know that you should draw different parts of the eyes at the same time to make it look more symmetrical. But I get the shape, I get where it is going to go, so I'm drawing it now, and then I will add guidelines that come from like the very top of the lashes, the very bottom of the lashes, where they start. So yeah, I'm not even exactly sure how to explain it. All I know is that's just how I do it, except for with closed eyes because there isn't much to go on. But I am kind of proud of how the eyes turned out, and I like how they turned out. Right now he it makes him kind of look like a girl with the way that I make his lashes super thick, and I add like a ton of different lashes, but he looks more masculine at the end. Although I feel like he himself looks pretty young, so it isn't bad, but I like how this eye turned out, and I liked drawing it. It was fun for me to draw it, because I don't normally draw super big characters like this, so it was fun to draw really big eyes because I enjoy drawing eyes. Until I can't get them symmetrical, then I don't so much enjoy it. But anyway, so then I'm just adding the lashes that were fun because they were super easy to just draw with one flick of my pencil. And then I'm super excited to color in his irises and his irises, because he has white pupils. And I think that's super fun because it's like dark blue and then it has white pupils. And I kind of erased it with my pencil to make it look like you could see what his eye was about, and I kind of shaded it a little, but it doesn't at all bring glory to the actual character that is Scara, because everyone loves Scara. So now I have to attempt to draw the other eye, just erasing the pupil really quick, and you can see the shadow from my head. But now I'm going to draw the weird little guidelines that I kind of explained when I started, but I'm just drawing his eyebrow really quick. He has kind of like a mischievous look. Like at first I gave him a full smile because that's what he had, but he looked too, I don't know, what I was picturing in my head was a more mischievous look, so I gave him furrowed brows and then a half smile because I thought that looked more like he was up to something. I don't know. So after I spend an unreasonable amount of time on an eyebrow, I am going eventually to start on the guidelines for the other eye after drawing the eyelid. I feel like after you add the eyelid, he looks more mischievous and sinister. Actually, I can't say sinister because he's not sinister. But now I'm starting on the guidelines that I was talking about that come from different points of his eyes so I can know where to draw it. And it was pretty easy because it's not front view, so they don't have to be perfectly symmetrical. It is 3/4 view, so it is a little bit different. So it was somewhat easy for me to draw his other eye. I only needed to draw it once. So that's improvement. So you can't really see what I'm doing because my hand is covering it, but I am drawing his eye. And my cousins were over as I was drawing this. So I had to cut out a bunch of parts because they would stick their hands in, see what I'm drawing. My cousin really likes to draw, and he is super into watching me draw, so he liked to watch. Same with my brother. So I'm just continuing with his eye, drawing his eye. My guidelines are weird, but they're effective. They work, so I just stick with it. So now I'm drawing his iris so that I can draw all the details in his eye, his pupil. I do end up changing the placement of it because he looks weird. So now I am drawing the iris that I will end up sticking with, but it is, of course, covered with my hand because I'm super good at filming. So I'm just drawing that, and then I am going to add the different details, erase the little part for his pupil, outline it a little bit. So now I'm just adding more shading to the other eye because I decided that it needed it. But it looks super weird right now, and his other eye looks way too small compared to the other one, but that is because I am missing the eyebrow, and once I draw the eyebrow, it will look much better. So right now I'm just erasing the little part for his pupil, then I'm going to outline it. And now I am going to start on his eyebrow, because it is furrowed like the other brow is, and I had to get it to somewhat the same spot as the other place was, so that they look similar. Obviously not the same, because that would be impossible unless I was drawing digitally. But so I'm just adding his eyebrow, making it look like he's up to something. I'm not exactly sure what. But so I have added his mouth, but he looked too happy. So I am just erasing the guidelines, and I'm going to fix his mouth because I didn't like the way that it turned out. So now I'm erasing the mouth, and I did do the same guidelines that I did for Nahida's mouth, where I did from the corners of the eye, the outer edge of the eye to the chin, and then drawing inside that because that helped. So now I did a half smile, and then I think it looks much, much, much better. But now we are nearing the end, and I'm almost done, so I will say thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on post notifications, and stay tuned for more videos. Also, watch the first part of this video, drawing Nahida from Genshin Impact. And again, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.
Bye!